Hi everyone and welcome to another video. My name is Deborah and this is the edit by DH. Firstly, I just wanted to say, please excuse the light. I'm trying to film in natural light as I always like to do. However, we are now in winter, so even though it's only 2 o'clock, you would think it's 7 o'clock from how dark it is. So I just wanted to explain the light. Secondly, I just wanted to quickly go through what I'm wearing makeup wise. For the first time in a long time, I don't feel like a tramp as soon as I'm filming. Often I have to keep makeup off so that I can try it on for you on camera, and sometimes I feel like, gosh, I look so rough. But today I've got full face on for once, including Lisa's gorgeous Velvet Ribbon True Velvet lipstick. On obviously the matching lip pencil as well. I have got a different foundation on today. It's a 𝕊𝕕𝕚𝕚𝕚 one and I'm still meaning to review it. It's just finding the time, but I will definitely review the 𝕊𝕕𝕚𝕚 Radiant Cream Foundation. I absolutely love it. And in terms of the highlighter, I have the Elevated Glow Lisa Eldridge Cosmic Rose on. And then for brows, I have got the Kimiko Brow pencil in Black Tea. The shade is Black Tea. It's literally a pencil that I've just used. That's also currently being sold at Lisa's shop in her pop-up store, but you can also buy it separately if you wanted to buy it online. You know, not all of you live close to London. And I've bought something else from Kimiko from her store yesterday, but I'll go through that in just a moment. I'll show you everything that I bought basically, but nothing that I bought really is a color product, so that's why I just decided to do a full face. Anything that I've got on my face right now, I will link down below. Anything that I link down below that's a live link means it will be an affiliate link. So it just means that it won't cost you anything additional. But if you do decide to purchase through the link, I will just earn a small commission. So I just wanted to point that out. And lastly, I just wanted to point out my earrings. I got this recently from a brand called 𝕊𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚. And I believe it was in collaboration with Harris Reed, but I think they're absolutely stunning. So as you can see, because they're a pair, one is the star and another is the moon. And actually I bought them as like an early birthday present to myself. It's coming up to my birthday very, very soon, early December, and I wanted to wear them on my birthday night out with my friends, but I also thought I'd wear them for the video because why not? Anyway, going back to what you're here for, the Lisa Eldridge event. So as many of you may or may not know, Lisa Eldridge recently posted an announcement about masterclasses at her studio, and we knew this was coming. I've spoken about it previously on Lisa Eldridge videos, so I just thought, I hope I can get tickets for at least one of her events, right? And I will talk a bit more about it later, but I will be traveling, hopefully, from the 9th of December. So I thought, please let there be an event that I can attend before December. And luckily I managed to book in Lisa's Seamless Skin and Brows Masterclass, which I attended last night. And I shared this on my story as well. So with this masterclass, it was basically a collaboration between Lisa and the Kimiko founder, Danielle, and hence why the name Seamless Skin and Brows. And they basically just took us through skin, foundation, brows, and ultimately allowed like a Q&A afterwards, which I'll go into more detail in just a moment. I kind of want to talk about the experience from beginning to end, including giving you some tips and also talking about the experience in general, how it felt to meet Lisa in person, and also what I purchased, as well as some information on her new launches. So just bear with me, I want to go in chronological order. So firstly, I turned up at the event and it starts at 7:30. So for those of you who know, her shop tends to be open from 11 AM every day till 7 PM, and then on Sunday it closes at 6 PM. So because it was a weekday, I arrived I think 10 to 7, so the shop was still open. And I asked the security, you know, do I wait, or can I wait inside? And he said no, because you know you can come in and shop for the last 10 minutes, but at some point the shop will close for half an hour. They'll then prepare for the masterclass and then you'll be let in at 7:30. Fair enough. So I thought I could go away and come back, And at that point, at 10 to 7, no one was in the queue. So I decided to wait in the queue because it meant that I was first in line, and I was happy to wait 40 minutes for Lisa. I wouldn't be happy to wait 40 minutes for many people, but for Lisa, I thought that's nothing. So even though it's really cold outside, I waited, and as he said, at 7 o'clock, all the customers left and they shut the store, and then they started to set up. Pretty much soon after I started queuing, another lady came into queue around similar time, to be honest, and she started to queue behind me. And it's so funny because I didn't know whether she was queuing because she wanted to go into store or whether because she was there for the event, and I didn't want her to misunderstand and think, you know, you have to queue to go into the store. So I turned around thinking I was being helpful and said, oh hi, I don't know if you're queuing for the event or for the store, but you know, and then even before I could really finish my sentence, the lovely lady ended up being a follower of mine, and she really surprised me and asked, you know, are you Deborah? That really threw me for a loop. And it was just so lovely because I've said this in a previous video, if you guys ever see me in the street, I don't even care if I've got no makeup on, I'm in the supermarket looking like a tramp, please come and say hello to me. I love that. So yeah, this lovely lady called Anita, she, you know, said hello and we had a nice little chat. And so that was a really nice start to the event. And then soon after, I remember sort of turning around at about 7:15, and the queue had already sort of built up. And I think, I'm not sure exact numbers, I want to say about 25 people approximately. Don't hold me to that. It looked about that amount. And yeah, so the queue forms. So my advice is, if you want to get front row seats, because obviously everybody wants front row seats, I would say come super duper early. Make sure you're warmly wrapped up. Make sure you've been to the loo, and you know, you're prepared to wait that amount of time if you want to be front of the queue. Okay, so then the next bit is, so it gets to 7:30, we can see people setting up, we got a little cheeky glimpse of 𝕊𝕬𝕚𝕚 Eldridge as well, which was so exciting. Got to 7:30 and or just about, and 2 members of staff came out. So 1 member of staff who was a lady, and then there was a security guy. So they came out with a clipboard of names, obviously from the event, and I was expecting them to just check our tickets on, so I had that prepared on my phone. So obviously, because I was first in queue, the lady approached me and said, do you have your COVID pass? And it just really threw me because I didn't know that we had to prepare our like double jab COVID pass. So I just felt really flustered in the moment, and I said to her, oh, I didn't know that we had to prepare it. And she was like, yeah, a reminder email was sent out. So I thought, okay, and I definitely had not seen this in any reminder email. So I was, you know, when you're like flustered, and my hands were frozen from standing outside for 40 minutes. So imagine like numb fingers trying to type really clumsily on the phone. So I quickly was scrolling through my emails trying to see if I could find a digital copy of my COVID pass, but I couldn't find it. And had I known, I would have obviously bought my physical hard copy of the COVID pass. So obviously, because at this point, like, she knew that it was going to take me a little while to find it. She then suggested if I had the NHS app, which I didn't. So she said, well, if you download it, you'll just have to find it. And in the meantime, can you move out the queue? So you can imagine, initially, to be honest, completely honest, you know me, I felt quite annoyed because I had been waiting 40 minutes in the queue. I would have been first, well, I was first in line, and I would have had the best pick of the seats, which was right at the front. But because of this whole situation, I was then suddenly forced to come out of the queue to the side whilst downloading the NHS app and trying to find a digital copy of my COVID pass. And I felt annoyed for numerous reasons, because firstly, I knew I hadn't received a reminder email with it. And secondly, I felt like obviously embarrassed. And thirdly, I lost my place. So she basically started letting other people go ahead of me. And the NHS app, if any of you have signed up or used it, is really long-winded. You're relying on the internet that is around the Royal Opera House. Not that I was using Wi-Fi, but you know what I mean. Even with 3G or 4G, you're relying on the internet around you, and it was so slow. And they were asking like 101 questions, you know, minus what's your favorite color. So I was literally like trying to do it as quickly as I could. But at the same time, I felt annoyed because I felt like the 14 minutes that we were standing in the queue, or however long we were standing in the queue, a member of staff could have just come out and said, look, even if they had sent a reminder email, can you guys just get the COVID pass ready and prepared? We're going to check it as soon as the event is ready to go. So please just prepare that. We'll be back out when we're ready to start the event. I felt like that would have been super helpful. And honestly, I don't disbelieve that they sent this email out, because there were some people who had the COVID pass ready to show, but there were also other people like myself who didn't have it ready, who also had to move out of the queue. So it did feel a little bit weird, and to be honest, it wasn't a good start to the event. And even though my first reaction was annoyance and frustration, I thought, Deborah, calm down. You might have been sent the email, so just double check in case you're wrong. You don't want to look like an idiot. So anyway, eventually I downloaded the app, showed the COVID pass, got in, and at this point half the room had already filled up. So the chairs at the back are higher, they're more elevated. So I thought, if I'm going to sit anywhere, I might as well sit at the back, because then at least I'm elevated above people and I can see a little bit better than being on the same level and having heads right in front of me. And I asked the member of staff, can I sit anywhere? And they said yes. So I sat right at the back. But it just, again, made me feel annoyed that like I'd missed the opportunity to be right at the front when essentially I was first in queue. And then at that point, because we were still waiting for the masterclass to begin, I started scrolling through my emails, and I only had 2 emails for this masterclass. The first one was on Friday, the day that I booked the ticket, to confirm that I booked the ticket, and there was nothing on there about a COVID pass. And then on the day, yesterday, I had a reminder email and all the details except for the COVID pass. So again, I'm not disbelieving that this email was sent out, but it certainly wasn't sent to me. So maybe there was some kind of error, maybe I got missed out. And by the way, in case anyone says it, I always check my junk mail, so it definitely wasn't in my junk mail. So yeah, I just felt frustrated, and I just kind of had to shake it off for the event. And the reason why I've just kind of gone into detail about that is because I have had people reach out to me asking, do you have any tips on how to, get to the front of the queue or get the best seats for the masterclasses? That's the best way to do it, is to come early. But make sure you have your COVID pass or proof that you have been double jabbed. If there's anybody that hasn't been double jabbed, I highly doubt they will let you into this event. If you don't have proof, even if you have been double jabbed, they probably won't let you into the event. So just as a huge FYI, prepare your COVID pass. I think you can even bring like the card. If you're in the UK, if you bring that card where it shows the dates of what you got, like which vaccination you got and the dates, I think that's accepted. I think if you're from abroad and you have your own abroad certificate, like foreign certificate, that's okay, because I think there was a woman from the United States who showed her form of proof, and that was accepted. So as long as you have proof that you've been double jabbed, then that's okay. But if you don't, you won't get in. So I just wanted to make that super duper clear, because I wouldn't want anyone to kind of have the same experience that I did, because honestly, it did not start the night on a good night. And secondly, I wouldn't want anyone to go all that way for that event, especially after you've paid, and not be able to get in. Just wanted to throw that in there. And honestly, I didn't want to start on a negative note, but if I'm going through the sequence of events in a chronological order, it made sense to start with the beginning. Anyway, the rest is positive, I promise you that. So after settling down, Lisa came out very soon after, and she started to do the masterclass. She was also with Danielle, who, like I explained, is the founder of Kimiko Brows. And the whole idea was that Lisa would do the prepping for the skin, like using her foundation primarily. Basically just the base, so no colour, and then Danielle would then take over with the brows, which is exactly what happened. So just to let you know, at the point where I was sitting, which was furthest at the back, Lisa and Danielle and the model were some distance away. So even though you can see, if you've got bad eyesight like I do, I tend to do the squinty eyes thing if I can't see, the view's not that great. But luckily they had a TV set up, so you can see on the TV screen, and obviously it's larger than life. It was a great idea to have that in place.
Yeah, I think that colour is going to be your perfect summer colour. Because it's going to be, how hot is it going to be?
It's going to be about 31 every day.
Do you like the heat? Love it. I think it's got the gold in that come Christmas is going to be perfect. But I don't know if you can see there, it's pretty much disappearing, and that's what we want. So I'm going to start around the center of your face. Now obviously with 𝕊𝕤𝕚𝕚𝕚 we've got more on the cheeks.
And even though Lisa didn't have a mic, because I think they said they played around with the mic but it sounded a bit weird, you don't need it because you can perfectly hear everything from the back. So just again wanted to add that information in there. So as Lisa was talking, I took notes. So I was that loser that basically soaked in everything that Lisa said. And to be honest, a lot of the things that she said are things that I know already. And it's not like said in an arrogant way. It's because obviously I used to work in the makeup industry. And also I think it's because as makeup artists, you often, it's not necessarily about being right or wrong, but you have your own style. And I feel like my style is very similar to Lisa's. Partly probably because I'm influenced by her, and partly because I think we both like the same kind of look or aesthetic. So she started off with a moisturizing primer. So she did explain that this is something that she will be releasing at some point. She doesn't know when. I know for a fact it probably won't be released until way into next year because, you know, Lisa, and that's kind of why we love her. She will develop a product, but unless she's 100% happy with it, she won't release it onto the market. So I think she's still at that stage where she's still test running it. So it's definitely not at this anywhere near the stage where she's ready to launch it and sell it. But she did explain that it's a moisturizing primer. So Lisa spoke a lot about using lots of layers, lots of thin layers for the skin. She really used the word synergy a lot. And she was explaining that she likes everything to be in synergy with the skin. And that's why she likes to use her fingers. She likes everything to blend in gorgeously. She likes to layer the makeup. So she starts off with thin layers. And as you know, the foundation is buildable. But she was saying that her foundation is the kind of foundation where you almost need to apply it and then it looks better like maybe 10 minutes later or 20 minutes later. It's not that kind of foundation where it looks good. No, it does look good instantly, but you know what I mean? It looks better after 10 to 20 minutes. And she was saying that it's not the kind of foundation where you pump 15 pumps of it, for example. So she said she saw some videos where people were doing this on their face and she was thinking, God, no, that's not how you use it. She likes lots of thin layers. She likes using her fingers. And again, it's to just make it look like skin. She doesn't like to apply a thick layer of the foundation all over the face, like an equal layer of foundation over the face, because she said sometimes you don't need it. So for example, I understood what she meant because here I have a lot of redness, but on my forehead, I actually have very good skin. So often I apply little to no makeup. I apply a little bit of makeup here because I get redness, but generally I don't tend to bring my foundation up here. So that's because, you know, I like my skin to still show through if possible, and that's what Lisa believes in as well. Sorry guys, you can see the light is dimming. If needs be, I'll turn on the light in just a second. She explained that, you know, with the highlighter, when you apply it, she likes to apply it underneath the foundation. Just give it some time. Just give it a few minutes for it to really like set, and it's because of that 𝕊𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚 technology. She just said, you know, give it some time to set and then you can go on top of it with the foundation. Again, she likes to start from the center of the face, which is something that I do, and especially around the nose, mouth and chin area. She basically went in with the foundation brush. So you guys would have seen this from my previous videos, but that's her foundation brush number 1. She basically applied a real thin layer and she was very like gentle. I spoke to the model afterwards and the model said that Lisa is so gentle with her application, and so it feels almost like nurturing. So I've said this again in videos before where how you apply can make a big difference. And so it's just gentle sweeps that she was really doing and not even going in with a lot of product. I think in the end she only used like a maximum of 2 pumps, but just really making sure that everything was blended out and going back to that word seamless. Then she went in with like a stippling brush and she went in with the same foundation and just sort of stippled around the cheek area where it needed a little bit more coverage, and then used her fingers to just blend everything in. She spoke a lot about edges, where she doesn't like edges. So she doesn't like seeing where things begin and end. So it's the same with foundation. You know, some people might like not really blend the foundation into the hairline. If you have contour, she doesn't like to see where it begins and ends. Same with the blush and same with her highlighter. So using the fingers just really helps to blend everything in. Sorry guys, as you can see, I've had to turn on the light. If it gets any darker, I might even have to bring out my Reiki mirror with lights, but just bear with me. I could have just left this till the morning, tomorrow morning, but I really wanted to just get this video out so I could give you all the information. The quicker the better, really. And because I wasn't applying either, it didn't really, in my opinion, seem like it was important to have the natural light. But you can see I'm really struggling with it. Anyway, so going back to Lisa, she mentioned that she likes to pinpoint. And if you love Lisa and if you watch her videos, she's often mentioned pinpoint concealing is her thing. She likes to pinpoint conceal with a very small brush. She will go in, she went in actually with the same foundation so that it doesn't look so obvious. So in a way, she will do like one whole layer of the foundation, and then like she goes smaller and smaller. So she did like the extra coverage on the cheeks with the stippling brush, and then she went even smaller with a thinner brush and used the foundation for pinpoint concealing for like, I don't know, spots and things like that. By doing that technique, it doesn't look so obvious that you're wearing makeup.
Where there's more makeup on, they see overall a face which looks like a natural face. And I find that when I do that technique of go big, go smaller, I can get away with actually using quite intense amounts of makeup in smaller areas.
She explained that she suffered with acne when she was younger. It first started off as back acne, or backne as people say, and then it ended up being on her face in the 90s. And she was a makeup artist working in fashion, and she said, can you imagine, you know, working in fashion with acne? And then it was a time when grungy makeup was in fashion, and she was saying that imagine having acne and not even being able to cover it up because wearing makeup at the time wasn't cool, it wasn't on trend. You know, having a makeupless face or minimum makeup was the trend. So she said that's when she started to really perfect the pinpoint concealing. So that was really interesting to hear. And again, emphasize the whole seamless skin, emphasize the whole everything should be a diffusion. So that was a key thing that she mentioned several times. Also, she said she doesn't necessarily have an order of makeup. So she said it really just depends on the client. So with some people, she'll start with eyes because she doesn't want to, you know, it's easier to deal with the fallout. Sometimes she'll start with the skin. So it just really depends on the person. And sometimes she'll go back to things, for example, because sometimes she just likes makeup to sit for a bit before seeing what she needs to do. So for example, she likes to kind of let the makeup settle. And then afterwards, she'll see, okay, this person's face eats a lot of makeup, or, you know, maybe this is heavy, or tone this down, or add more of this. And that's, she's constantly almost like editing what she's doing. And I think that's really, really clever to do. Plus, she said that when she uses skincare, she will often ask a lot of questions to the client to, you know, really break it down and, you know, ask them about their skin type. And I completely understand that because I used to do exactly the same thing when I used to work in makeup. And sometimes you think that a certain person's skin might be a certain way, so you use this particular type of cream, and then actually it's not right, and you need to either give them more hydration or mattify them more, or whatever the case might be. So it was really just interesting to hear it from like Lisa's perspective. Anyway, at this point, Lisa then brought out a new product of hers that will be launching hopefully sometime soon. So this is the face mist. Now, some of you may or may not know that she's bringing out a face mist. I stupidly forgot to take a picture of it. In fact, I should have used it, but I was just so caught up in Lisa's aura when I was there and speaking to other people that I just completely forgot. I was like a complete wally when I was there. Anyway, I'll still pop a picture up above. So this face mist is a new launch. She doesn't know. This is the thing about the products, is like you don't know way in advance when she's launching stuff. It's very sort of like not last minute, but you get given a very short period of time as a consumer to know when something is launching. So when it goes live, you're just like go and get it. So with this face mist, one of the makeup artists has said that it probably most likely will be launching in the new year, but not to hold them to it. So to be honest, the face mist is ready to go. even Lisa confirmed this herself. It's ready to go. It's ready to sell. The only problem is there's no packaging. So they have like the mist, for example, and it's like all been approved. She's happy with it, but it's just the packaging has been held up. I believe it's because of Brexit, but yeah, it's held up somewhere in the world, and as a result that they can't sell it obviously without the packaging. So that's the only reason why they haven't sold it yet. Otherwise I'm sure they would have been selling it already. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I took a few notes when Lisa was talking about it, and she even used it on the model, and it literally was a light mist, which I love. Some mists literally feel like a toothless person is spitting in your face, whereas this mist it looks so gentle and literally so like very soft, you know. So she explained that it has the same ingredient called 𝕊𝕦𝕓𝕣𝕚, as you know, which is the same ingredient in her highlighter and her foundation, and also it includes a bunch of vitamins and glycerin, so it's great for the skin. So basically, other than the 𝕊𝕦𝕓𝕚, it's got loads of ingredients in there to really just hydrate and plump the skin. Also, do you remember how she mentioned that with the foundation you normally need like 10 to 20 minutes for it to settle down, and at that point it then looks better than when you initially apply it? The whole purpose of creating this face mist was to cut out that 10 to 20 minutes. You can just get on with life and go straight into it. So you can then start straight away applying, you know, your makeup. So that was really interesting to hear as well. And to be honest, I love face mist. I don't need an excuse to buy a face mist. So that I'm so excited for that launch. And then with the blush, even though she didn't apply any blush on the model because it was about the base, it was about the foundation, someone asked like how you should apply blush, and she said basically from the center, you know, from the center of your eye upwards basically. And really, she said don't be afraid to like blend the color on the fattest part of your cheek. But that was a general tip that she gave. And remember, she likes diffusion. She doesn't like seeing edges. So just to blend it out so that everything looks seamless and as one, which I also believe in. In terms of the highlighter, she explained that the best way to apply it is by tapping it on with the finger. And again, just like it helps to blend it out, right? And she said with placement, it's where you have the hardest bone. So feel your skin, wherever you have the hardest part, just apply a little bit there, and you can obviously build it up. So just that tap, tap and blend it out. She explained with people who are concerned about fine lines and wrinkles, especially in this area, to apply the product here first, thereby you're getting most of the product here. And by the time that you continue to tap and get to here, there's not as much product on your finger left. So that's a good tip. So start here and go backwards. I mean, I do that anyway, but I wouldn't have done it for that reason. So it was really good to hear her explanation of why to start here and end there, if that makes sense. Also, a new product that's coming out, and apparently this is like really like hot off the press, but we got to hear it because we were at the masterclass last night. So as you know, she has 4 shades currently, I believe, in the Elevated Glow. I have got the Cosmic Rose, but the palest one I believe is like, I want to say Crystal Nebula, but I will add a correction if I'm wrong. So the palest shade right now is Crystal Nebula, and it's like a champagne-y color. But I think in terms of feedback and from her own experiences of using it, where she has really pale people, clients, models, beautiful porcelain skin, it was showing up on their skin and it wasn't quite pale enough. So she ended up creating a new color called Pink Moon. So this is a confirmed new launch that's coming out, Pink Moon, and I got to see it on a different model, because the model that she was using, she was like a shade 23, for example, so she had warm golden gorgeous tones, but obviously Pink Moon is more suitable for, I imagine, like light set 1 category group, if you know what I mean. So I got to meet another follower yesterday called Chloe, and we actually follow each other on Instagram now as a result, and she's so lovely and absolutely gorgeous. I mean, so is Anita. Chloe is that gorgeous like porcelain skin, curly red hair. She's stunning. And so Lisa used it on her Pale Moon and it worked so beautifully. Chloe showed me afterwards, and like it still looks super natural, because I think that's what some people get scared of with highlighter, is that some people don't want to, you know, be seen from Jupiter. But with this one, it's so natural, but if you wanted to, you can absolutely build it up to be more dramatic, for example. But it looks so stunning on her. So it's just got that slightly more of a pinky, cooler undertone for the paler shades, whereas Crystal Nebula has that champagne undertone. So it's just more of a choice. So I don't know when exactly that will be launched, but I would just say keep an eye out for December and January for a lot of her launches, like the new year. So that was also super exciting to hear. We're still waiting for her eyeshadows to launch as well, the liquid eyeshadows. I think they're called the 𝕬𝕓𝕒 eyeshadows. I've spoken about them before. I've shown you the swatches in my previous video. They should be launching sometime in December, this is for sure. When I asked the makeup artist, she said probably like the first week of December, possibly, hopefully. So again, as soon as those are launched, I will absolutely let you know. In fact, I will purchase them and review them for you whenever I get the chance. But again, just as an FYI. So there are 3 launches coming up: the eyeshadows, the Pink Moon highlighter, and the face mist. Then after Lisa's section where she did the makeup on the gorgeous model, she then handed over to Danielle, and Danielle, I believe, is half Japanese and half Caucasian American, and she then demoed the brows and went into some detail about the brows. She said the reason that she started this brow business, she's a makeup artist herself, by the way, is because she really struggled to find the right brow pencils, and I'm sure we've all been there, where the colors aren't quite right, and it makes it really obvious that you're wearing a brow product. So she wanted to really tap into that market where she just wanted to create a brow product that works. So I believe she's got 3 shades in her brow collection, or 4 maximum. So like I said, I've got black tea on, which is a cool shade, and for me it works perfectly. So she used a combination of black tea and the next color, which I believe is called coffee or something like that, on the model. So because the model had the tails missing, we were laughing because she said, I've lost my tails. And so Lisa was like, that's the phrase of the night. Danielle used black tea on the tails, but here at the beginning, where she wanted to make it a little bit softer, she used the coffee. She explained that all the Kimiko brow products are made in Japan, and it was inspired by her grandfather, I believe, something about like I don't know if it was like a family heirloom, but it was like a Japanese samurai sword, and trying to find out the origin of it that led her on this journey. I think it's a katana, led her on this journey and eventually led her to, you know, making these gorgeous brow products. I even purchased the brow sensei. I believe sensei means teacher in Japanese. If I have any Japanese followers, please correct me. And so this one is a gel product, and literally it's only available in clear, and that's a wand. And basically this is obviously just used to brush your hairs up and keep it in place. But this also has the peptide ingredient that she mentioned as, you know, being really good for your brows. So you know that whilst it's on your brows, it's also doing good things because of the ingredient. This is fantastic, actually. I'm not just saying that. I've used so many brow serum gel things, and they're a bit like meh, you know, they're wishy-washy, they're neither here nor there. But this is, I can just tell this is really good. And even this wand, she explained that it's from Japan as well, and she saw this wand somewhere, I don't know where in Japan, and she was like, I need that wand for my brow gel product. And they were like, oh, this is hard to get, or you can't use this. And she was like, no, this is what I want, and that's why she got it in the end. But yeah, so this is also what I purchased last night, as well as the brow gel pencil from last time. Then after the event, they cleared the chairs and we got to meet the lovely Lisa, and so people queued up to meet her, and I already had my face paint book on me, which is just there, and she was willing to sign it at the event. And that, you know, they do say that in the reminder email to bring, if you have one already, she can just sign a pre-existing copy, or you can purchase it on the day and she'll sign it for you. So I met Chloe's friend, who I think she said she left her book in Australia, and so I suggested that she could just ask the staff for a nice piece of card or paper, and they could just, then she could use that for Lisa to sign. So Lisa is literally willing to sign anything. I saw her signing bags as well. I obviously previously had a signature from Lisa, and it says, with love, Lisa, but she just added hi Deborah to the beginning, and I think she would have written more, but at that point someone interrupted us because the TV guy who was there, who set up the TV, he interrupted and kind of started speaking to her. Anyway, I thought just my luck for him to start speaking to her when I'm in the middle of a conversation with her. Anyway, but what I really loved about meeting Lisa is the first thing she said to me was, "I recognize you, I remember you," something like that. And that was so lovely because obviously I said to her, "I've been to your events before, but I just didn't think you would remember me." She goes, "No, I do remember you." And later on, I think she realized that I do like social media as well. And she said to me, "I love your stories. I love viewing your stories," which was so encouraging. I mean, I don't think she would be the type to lie, but even if that is a lie, like, it's so nice to hear. I just explained like how I've basically fangirled hard. I just said to her, "You're literally my biggest inspiration in makeup," and I explained the reason that I got into makeup was because of Lisa. And back in 2013, I went from being a children's social worker to makeup, don't ask, and I had very little confidence. And I remember watching her videos on YouTube and literally just jotting down everything she was saying, just soaking it all in, and anything that she suggested makeup wise, I literally wrote it down on a piece of like a notepad and thought, okay, this is now what's going to form my basic makeup kit. And that's exactly what happened. And it's just the way she's got this quiet, calm, gentle, elegant nature to her that really encouraged me, because I'd always grown up thinking you had to be the loudest, the flashiest, and that was never me. So I thought, well, I'm never going to make it. And I lacked a lot of confidence. And seeing someone like Lisa, who is calm, she's not necessarily the loudest, who is so humble, who is so elegant and lovely, it just really inspired me. So I let her know that. And I also mentioned that back in 2015, I previously stalked her at the stylist event where she was interviewed by Sally Hughes. I just remember again seeing her, and that's when she spoke about her makeup for the first time publicly. I think this was 2015. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I can't wait for Lisa to launch her her makeup line. And then I think it wasn't until 2018 when she first launched her lipsticks. So literally I've been, part of the OG crew that has always loved Lisa Eldridge, and that I doubt that will ever change, because part of my love for Lisa is how humble she is. No matter how successful she is, she still remains grounded, and that's one of her biggest charms. And by the way, she's as beautiful in real life as she is on screen. Like, it's literally like they've taken her from screen to real life and just plopped her out, and looks exactly the same. Fantastic skin, so beautiful in real life. And I think she could tell that I was nervous, because she gave me like a reassuring like rub on the arm a few times. Anyways, she was really, really lovely. So I love meeting her. I met Danielle as well, said hello. Danielle, like I mentioned earlier, is also a makeup artist, but she apparently does Sandra Oh's makeup, which is fabulous, because I love Sandra Oh, who doesn't? So that was really interesting to know. But again, Danielle is just so down to earth, and it was really Lisa that introduced me to the brand Kimiko, and it's a brand that I now respect. So I would definitely keep supporting them from afar. So in terms of purchases, this is the final thing I will say, because I feel like this video is already long. Like I mentioned earlier, I bought the Kimiko Brow Sensei, which is the gel. And as you guys know, I previously purchased 3 of her makeup brushes, the number 1, the number 7 and number 8. So I've previously shown you this before, demoed with it. By the way, if you guys haven't seen any of my videos before and you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link all my videos down below so you can see. But what I found was, when I reviewed these brushes, I had loads of people reach out to me and tell me that they didn't know that the makeup brushes were being sold. So right now online, the only brush that was being sold was the number 1, but that's sold out because that was launched in line with the foundation. The rest of her brushes, I was asked loads of questions about what her other brushes like. Do you know if there's any brushes for the lips? And then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to buy the rest of the brushes for you guys. Whether I use them or not, I'll still love them because it's Lisa, and at least you guys can see. So I bought the full collection. So I bought the number 9, the number 14 and the number 15, just to show you all the brushes. There we go. So actually the number 8 and 9 are very similar. I'll show you the difference. So the 8 is the smaller one and the 9 is the bigger one. I previously mentioned that this would be really good for like spot powdering. If you don't want to powder your whole face, you can just use this for areas. It's also great for blending out eyeshadow in the crease and other things as well. There's loads of other things to use with it. But this one, as you can see, it's got more of a tapered edge at the top. So I think this would be really good for like highlighter, for instance, and even powder, to be honest with you. This would also be great for powder. So I believe Lisa used this to apply her powder yesterday, I believe so. And she used the La Mer loose powder to apply. Then these two brushes, so the bigger one is 14 and the smaller one is 15. So where people asked me about brushes for the lips, this is what I was talking about. So for those of you who commented and I answered you, this is exactly the brush I was talking about. So this is the smallest one in the collection. This will be great for the lips because it's got the width and the thickness, but the top, I don't know if you can see, it's slightly tapered at the top, and that will be good for just doing, you know, really getting in the corner of the mouth and doing the Cupid's bow, etc. And then this, you can use it for whatever you want, to be honest, but I feel like shadow on the lower lash line, and also if you want that inner corner like sparkle or like shimmer, that would be really good. But to be honest, you can use it for whatever you like, even blending out an eyeliner. Actually, I think that would be really good. So you can really use them for whatever you want. But I wanted to show you the whole collection of brushes because I know that's something that isn't available online and a lot of you were asking me about it. So hopefully that helps. If I can answer any other question about it, I'll try to do that. And they're all made in Japan. I've said this before, by the way. They're all made in Japan and they're all synthetic, FYI. So Lisa is obviously doing events until like mid-December, and I saw in the comment section that a lot of people were asking for more masterclasses beyond Christmas because obviously she's open until New Year's. They did say they'll take on board the feedback, so you never know. If you've missed out on tickets right now, just sign up to her newsletter, keep an eye on her Instagrams, you know, and hopefully you'll be notified if there are any more events that come up, because I believe right now all the masterclasses are sold out. I really would have loved to have gone to her, I believe it's called like a makeup seminar or something like that. I would have loved to have gone to that. Unfortunately, they sold out. There was two, they sold out quickly. And I believe the difference between that and like the one I attended last night, for instance, is it's a smaller crowd. Because I remember being in the pop-up studio previously and the makeup artist mentioned that there are some classes that will be like 24, 25 people, and then some classes that are much smaller, so like half the size, maybe 12 people. So I imagine the makeup seminar will be a smaller number of people, therefore it's probably more intimate. Maybe you get more opportunity to speak to Lisa. But having said that, I feel like yesterday's event, with all those people there, I didn't feel like I was rushed. I didn't feel like I had less time with Lisa. She doesn't make you feel rushed. Like when she's talking to you, she's genuinely interested in you. She's genuinely talking to you and giving you that time. Whereas I've met a lot of famous makeup artists, trust me. I'll name them, but I won't say who or what. I've met Pat McGrath, I've met Mario, I can never pronounce his surname, I'm really sorry, but the Kardashians makeup artist. I've met Anastasia Soare, the founder of Anastasia Beverly Hills, loads of other makeup artists anyway. With some of them I felt a bit like cattle, you know, when you just like one in, one out, sort of sit, here's a picture, hi, nice to meet you, okay, next, you know, it was a bit like that, like a doctor's queue. But with Lisa, it wasn't like that at all. She made you feel like your money was so worth it, and some, you know. And on that note, the £35 for the ticket, if you've purchased the ticket, or for future events if she does any, as an FYI, they are all fully redeemable on the product, so don't forget that. So if you are attending the event and you're interested in something, they will take your name and then take the £35 off of your overall purchase on that night. So again, just to make you aware, don't miss out on that. Also wanted to say that I've got velvet ribbon on, as you know, and I wore that last night in honor of Lisa. I was a bit worried because we're in times where it's normal to wear masks, so I thought, oh, I hope I don't get, like, imagine me meeting her with like red lipstick smudged all over my face. That wouldn't be a good look. I'm very pleased to report back that even with traveling to and from central London, which as you guys know is a journey in itself, and even wearing a mask and my red lipstick, it looked perfect still at the end of the night. So just to prove it, I'll insert a clip of me at the end of the night, tired but very happy. I've obviously blabbered on long enough. I just wanted to kind of share my experience with you, so I really hope that this video was useful. Lastly, I wanted to give some news. So as it stands right now, I have booked tickets to Korea. So I'm hoping to fly on the 9th of December, and I don't know how long I'll be there. Sometime for sure. I don't know how long though. It's all a little bit unpredictable, and even me flying to Korea, even though I've got my tickets booked, it's all really dependent on hopefully not having any last minute changes. Our dear Prime Minister making his last minute changes. I really hope it's not that kind of situation. So as long as nothing, you know, last minute unpredictable happens, I'm going to be flying to Korea. And I've previously mentioned in one of my previous videos that if I fly to Korea, I'm going to do a whole series on my time in South Korea. Some of you may already be familiar with some of Korean culture, some of you may not be, but if you are, or even if you're not but intrigued, I would highly suggest that you subscribe to my video if you're not following me already. And the reason why I'm going to make it a series is because honestly, there is so much to do and see and buy and eat in Korea. So that's why it has to be a series. So there's going to be a whole segment on beauty. Like, I'm going to take you with me when I go to shopping for beauty stuff. I'm going to show you all the food that I eat, the beautiful places that I go. I'm just so excited. Honestly, I'm so excited. I'm trying not to hype myself up just in case I can't go. But I'm so excited to take you guys with me on this journey. And just quickly, there's a town in Korea. It's called 𝕊𝕤𝕠𝕚, and basically it's a town just full of beauty shops. So it's not like all the beauty shops are there and it's nowhere else. Obviously, there are loads of beauty shops everywhere, but this particular place, it's just rows and lines and queues and queues, just lines of beauty stores everywhere. So I'll be taking you there as well. I'll try to film everything that I can so that you guys feel like you're on the experience with me. Most importantly, I haven't seen my mum for over a year because of the pandemic, and I'm I'm choked to see her. I hope that I'll be able to see her for at least Christmas and the New Year. So that's another reason why it's a special, meaningful trip to me. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Sorry that this video was longer than normal, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you on the next video. Take care, guys.